Today's episode begins in 2 minutes. So first, here's a preview of what's coming up, followed by a host and guest introduction.
Our friendship is so intentional. God strategically had a plan for us to meet, which was 20 years ago at a Soul to Soul concert at Tim McGraw and Faith Hill show, because you are childhood best friends with Faith. And I became close friends with Faith through the music business with my husband, and I happened to go that show and you were there. I see you're calling me, and you said, I was just kind of sitting at my desk and I felt a lump. You had been to a doctor in Star, and you said, but I'm gonna come to Nashville because it's not good and we need to do more testing.
And you called, and I could tell when I said hello, because I'm thinking on the
I
way.
didn't even know. I just got the call from Brad that Sage wasn't breathing. I called Mom and Dad first, and then you're the second person I called.
My prayer that I wanted was not the same answer that God had planned. Coming here for the first time, I just remember looking at Danny and go, how is she going to do it? I don't want to lose her.
This is the Good Grief, Good God show, featuring raw, honest conversation about surviving things that suck, available in audio and on YouTube. I'm producer Matt Pivoteau. Your host, songwriter Brad Warren of the Warren Brothers, has written songs recorded by artists including Tim McGraw and Faith Hill to Taylor Swift and Leonard Skinner, with 9 reaching #1. But Brad's purpose goes far beyond songwriting. Shaped by Brad's lived experience, including 20 years in sobriety, and created in honor of Brad and Michelle's son Sage, who was tragically lost to fentanyl poisoning in 2020, this show offers a space for guests to share deeply personal stories of resilience, hope, and faith, and even a little laughter along the way. For today's episode, special guest host Michelle Warren welcomes a dear friend, Gaye Knight, a cancer survivor and the wife of a retired military veteran. Gaye spent much of her life navigating the sacrifices that come with being a military spouse before later facing a cancer diagnosis that reshaped her understanding of strength and trust in God. In this conversation, Gaye and Michelle reflect on friendship, Gaye's journey as a cancer survivor, and Michelle's experience of losing her son Sage, and the importance of showing up for one another through life's hardest seasons. To learn more about today's guest in the show, check the description or visit goodgriefgoodgodshow.com. Executive producers Brad and Michelle Warren, and segment producer Lisa Bolt.
Well, I was going to say welcome, Gaye Knight, to Good Grief, Good God, but I'm going to say welcome home, because when you step into our home, you and your family, this feels more like home when you are here, and your presence is felt so beautifully through our house. So welcome home, my friend.
When I walk into your house, it's like walking into my home. And you still always say, if you need anything, I know where to find it.
I was like,
I do it
I ain't waiting on you, but if you need.
But you do fix a good cup of coffee, and so does
I don't know. Brad's been
Brad,
a good barista. You didn't get the whole full treatment of coffee in the bed, but that's a good.
I'll take
he
it
spoils
at the
me. Yeah, our chatty table. Matt said to us last night, because it was the first time you met our producer, and he just came in the kitchen and we were just talking. And he said, oh, this might be the longest podcast ever. And I said, yep.
But can we do it in our pajamas?
It's funny when the boys were living at home, because you live in Star, Mississippi now, and have been for years. After you moved and the boys were younger and still living at home, and you would call and we would talk on the phone. And I'm not a big phone talker, but when you call, it's just like, it could be an hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been talking an hour. Time goes by. And I'd come out of my room or wherever I would be in the house, and they're like, how's Miss Gaye? And I'm like, how do you know I was talking to Miss Gaye? And they said, well, because Mom, you don't ever talk on the phone that long. Your Southern accent becomes way more Southern after you hang up. And we could hear you cackle and laugh. And there is nobody that can make you laugh bigger than Miss Gaye. And I was like, wow.
I love that.
That's.
God blessed me with the gift of gab. And a lot of times my family tells me, would you please shut up? But you never tell me to shut up.
No, I love when we talk and chat, because it's real conversations. And our friendship has been through the very best of times and the very worst of times. And over 20 years of friendship. never a crossword, never. I will say though, because we talk about marriage and struggles in life, and we
Absolutely.
have problems, and you have never said anything bad about my husband, but when you think that, Michelle, this kind of is your fault, or maybe you should have done that, like, you call me out of my shit, and to me, that's what a good friend does.
I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear to sugarcoat things. I want to do it in a gentle way, but I need that in my life. I need somebody to point out to me. My kids are really good at telling me, Mama, you're screwed up on that.
Yeah. But still not the same.
No, but what I love about our friendship is it's true, deep rooted of, gosh, I love that girl. And I don't like to see you hurt. I don't like to see you struggle. But in life, we're going to have struggles. I mean, God tells us that. But the beauty of the friendship is we meet each other where we are and we hold each other up. And sometimes silence is the best, because there are times where I don't know what to say to you, but I know you're hurting. But just matter of fact, perfect example is when we drove up, we're like two little kids getting to see our best friend. Oh my gosh, she's here. It's that hug that I long for, of just getting to hold you. Because the one thing I've learned with my military marriage is when I make a connection with somebody and I connect them, I'm there. I'm going to be there. I'm your true blue ride or die.
Ride or die.
And I can't hold you up a lot of times because we live away. And I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing in my life is knowing when you're hurting, and I can't hold you. I can't hug you and go, it's going to be okay. Whisper it. I can whisper that on the phone, but it's not the same. And that's why this is so important. My favorite thing to do with you is sitting in a pajamas and curled up on the couch with a blanket and
or my bed
crying. My favorite thing is to crawl into bed, which is why I told you when I drive up, if you go to bed, that's fine, but just know I'm coming into your bedroom.
Look, I go to bed early.
I know,
but when the Knight family is on the road coming here, I don't care what time it is. I mean, I was waiting outside. I kept looking at my time, and I was like, "Are you there yet?"
Going.
I had a fire going. I was like,
and a bottled Coca-Cola,
a glass bottle of Coke. That's my girl. Or sweet tea, but I didn't do the sweet tea. But
don't forget the lemon.
Oh, I know. Sometimes I do falter. I'm sorry, but gosh, just knowing y'all were on your way, I was just like a little kid, and even Brad was like, "Oh my God, would you stop looking out the window?" I'm like, but she's almost here.
But anything with us, thanks to my husband, we never. I mean, that's been our life since our friendship. It's like, I mean, you're like my daughter. You are hey, ETA time. Da 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 da. Hey, Michelle, I have no idea because Danny's got this much stuff to do, and he doesn't, always fill me in on those details.
Yeah. I love your husband. I have to say, I will never give him for taking you back to Star, because that broke my heart. The day I had to say goodbye and y'all were packing up, and I was like, woo, that just gutted me.
But when I cross into the Tennessee state line, I still count this as one of my homes. I really do. Because it's like when you're not in my life every single day, but you are in my life every single day.
Yeah, we don't talk every day. We don't even talk every week. But
when a week goes by, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have not talked in a week.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just short.
I was going to say,
just
it doesn't
to check
even have
in.
to be a long
Yeah,
talk.
It's easy. Our friendship is so easy, and it's so intentional. Yeah. It's genuine. I don't know. I think God strategically had a plan for us to meet, which was 20 years ago at a Soul to Soul concert in Las Vegas. Soul to Soul being Tim McGraw Faith Hill show, because you are childhood best friends with Faith. And I became close friends with Faith through the music business with my husband. And I happened to go on that that show, and you were there. And I feel like we immediately had I had heard about you from Faith and stories of y'all, and she just spoke so highly of you. You gotta meet my best friend Gaye. You gotta meet her. I'm like, okay, it'll happen. And when it did, it was such a God thing. It just, and we come from two different worlds.
Completely
yeah,
different worlds.
didn't have much in common, but it didn't matter. It was your
I always
heart.
said with all of us, the biggest compliment she had ever paid to you was if they went to high school with us, they would be in our circle. All of y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we all had so much fun, because never a dull moment. And the thing about it is watching our kids grow up together, and that was a blessing.
Well, Anna babysat my 3 boys. And I think it wasn't until like 5 years ago did I hear these horrible stories of how bad my boys were to
bad. They were boys.
Oh my, Gaye, you are being too nice, because
they did traumatize her, but guess what?
Oh my gosh.
Now she has boys and she realizes, wow.
Yeah, but I was like, your daughter is the sweetest. If I had a daughter, I would want it to be Anna. I was like, they did what? I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't you ever tell me? Miss Michelle, I would never tell on them, because she did and does love those boys, and they love her too. And your boys, I mean, they're like my sons.
Oh, they are your other mom.
Your youngest came today just out of a whim, and you texted, is it okay if Jacob comes? I'm like, well, heck yeah, you don't even have to ask.
This is a last minute thing. And then of course Cameron calls before we start this, and he's like, hey, have y'all started yet? I'm like, I said we might be here till midnight tonight.
Yeah. Well, your Cameron reminds me of my stage. We've always said that, just their personalities, their good looks, and they're very similar, very similar. So, I mean, we can go on. I mean, I already tell us we're just gonna, keep on talking. And
I was gonna say this morning when we were out there and when we heard that noise. But before you said anything, I was just, because that's what I love about our friendship too. We can sit in silence and just be thinking, and then all of a sudden start talking. And I could hear the noise in my mind of the basketballs bouncing when all of those kids would be outside. And the dads would sometimes get out there and play basketball, but just the noise. Favorite thing that your boys did anytime we come here? When we lived here, when we didn't live here, if I walked through that door, the best hugs I would get, Sage would run up to me, pick me up, and then squeeze me and say, Miss Gaye.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then when he called and told me they were wearing the pink socks for breast cancer. He was my biggest cheerleader for breast cancer.
He was, and he was so adamant when he found out that his high school was doing that. I mean, and it was kind of a last minute plan. And he's like, Mom, we got to go to Dick's Sporting Goods right now. I'm like, okay, well, what's the urgency? And he's like, I need to wear pink socks for Miss Gaye tonight. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it was all of his idea. He even wrote on his, I don't know what you call it, but those brace, thing that he would write Miss Gaye on his every single year that they did that. And I was like, for a high school teenage boy to be so thoughtful, I'm like, intentional to honor you like that. I'm like, wow.
There's things like that when you have a circle like that gets you through that deep, dark times of hard times. And the family pulls together and lifts each other up.
Yeah.
And that's what the Warrens do.
Well, that's what the Knights do. Your journey has not been easy. And for several reasons. You have a very heavy military background from your husband. that, girl, you got some patience, because I don't know, after all these years, I would be able to do what you've done and so beautifully have done with your family, with your husband. But the first thing that I think about is with your faith and what that's done for you and how you've survived. You're a breast cancer survivor.
15 years.
15 years. Yeah. What a journey. And we're going to go there.
Yeah.
And feel free to talk about whatever you want or don't want. But I want to start with the military side. So tell me about your journey of being married at first and what that looked like for y'all.
Well, when Danny and I got married, we were young. It was in 1987. And the thing about it is when you marry that young, you don't think about what you're signing up for.
Your high school
sweethearts.
Yeah.
High school sweethearts. We married. He had, a little more schooling to do. And then once he got finished, we were off to Fort Benning, Georgia. And I didn't know what a military spouse was supposed to do. And then, of course, fast forward, I got pregnant 2 years later. And, I was getting used to the military life, but nothing was going on. But then 1990, that was Desert Storm and all that kicked off. And here I found myself 2-month-old baby and husband deployed. And I was literally in Georgia by myself with a 2-month-old. Now, my husband, of course, he was like, oh, you can move back home. You don't have to. And I'm like, no. I am a military wife. I am going to stay there and be there with the other wives that are struggling. And that's where it's an honor to be married to someone that loves their country and serves their country. But it also makes it a lot easier when my husband was a Christian and he loved God. And so he served God and country. But to be able to be around other ladies that were going through the same thing, because that's the one thing that I struggle with, because we never planned to move back home, but with elderly parents, it's the right thing to do. And so balancing that, but back to the military spouse, it's a camaraderie that you build, and you do get those friendships that they call you in the middle of the night because they don't have their family to say, hey, my kid's running high fever. Yeah. Can you come keep my other kid? Or I'm on my way. It's called the survival mode. Mm-hmm. And it is a hard job, but I couldn't think of a more job happier to do than to be a military spouse. Yeah. Is it easy? No. Because for that particular thing, I didn't hear, back then we didn't have the Skype and FaceTime and Zoom and all that. And now, not that it makes it any lighter, but still, technology has come so far. But I didn't hear from Danny for 4 months, until he left in August, I think. And then, we got messages from the, battalion, hey, they made it safe. But and my husband is like you, hates to talk on the phone. And he would stand in line for hours, to call me. And it would be hey, all's good. How's the kid? Love you. Bye. That was it. And he would say, I'm not standing in that line for forever.
My gosh.
But anyway, so.
Wow. It's interesting because when you said, you stayed because you shared what the other military wives were going through, it made me think of my mom's grief group, because there's something about sitting in a community with people that share the same commonality that you're going through. When a mom says to me that's lost a child, Michelle, I know how you feel. They do. And where in your situation, if their husband's deployed and they're having a bad day, they can call you up and you can say, I feel the same. And
Yeah.
you can't get that from somebody that doesn't have a
Exactly.
spouse in the military.
Or also know that it was just asked to me the other day by a sweet lady. Hopefully she'll be our next governor's wife. But anyway, she was talking to me. We were getting our nails done and we were just sitting by side in small talk, talking about military. And that was one of the questions that she said. She has a wife that was struggling because her husband they're doing those new deployments for National Guard and he is gone. And she said, what are some things you would know? What are some things that I can do? Look, a simple phone call. Mm-hmm. Hey, can I take you out to lunch? Can I keep your kids? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, I'm bringing you coffee. Mm-hmm. Or what's your favorite snack? It's those little things that make a difference. Or, hey, I'm praying for you. I just wanted you to know I'm praying for you.
And it's so easy to do.
It's so easy. It takes, that's the thing. We get so busy in life that we forget about the simple things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the simple things of, hey, I can't talk long, but I just want you to know I'm praying for you. I said a prayer for you, or I was thinking about you today, and I just want you to know that I love you, and if I'm here for you, if you need me.
Mm-hmm. It's not a big gesture.
It's not a big gesture.
It's the simple, small things that mean the most.
And if you're that busy that you can't do that, that's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad because that's not how God created us.
No. No, we've overcomplicated things.
Way overcomplicated things.
So you have Anna.
Yes.
Your first child. And then?
Yeah. And then we made it through. He made it back just in time for her first birthday.
Aww.
But it's, people don't understand that the milestones that he missed her first steps. He missed her first rollover. He missed her, he did not miss her first birthday, but, and then we made it through all that. And then we had Cameron, our middle son, and there was some, that was during Somalia and all the deployments there, and in him working in where he worked, he, was gone. And my husband is the type person that if his guys are out in the field, even though he doesn't have to be out in the field, he's going to be with his guys. He's going to be with them so he can, if they can't be with their wives, I'm not going to be with my wife because I'm going to be where my guys are. I'm going to be with my soldiers.
He's like all in.
He's all in. Anything he does, he's all in.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes above and beyond for his soldiers for sure.
Yeah. He loves his guys.
Mm-hmm.
He loves his guys. And
yeah,
that's good. And I never really understood the mentality of the way he thinks sometimes until I get him in a room of other soldiers. And boy, when I get in a room with his people, it's the most moving thing because you see them come alive and you think, well, why don't you do that with me?
Yeah.
But I don't know the language that they know. And, of course, we do us wives. It's healthy for us wives when we get together and see that.
Mm-hmm.
I go,
it puts it in perspective.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
It puts it in a whole new perspective. But I do love for him to do that. It's healthy. I've seen that. The older I get, the wiser I get. That's the old saying, and it's true. The older you get, you do realize, wow, it's so important to stay connected. It's so important, to even though you can have your everyday life, but to have that connection with people that understand you and that have been where you've walked, it does make it easier. I mean, I'm that way with, cancer.
Yeah.
If I have a sore on my foot and I'm like, this doesn't look right, I go get it checked out. And if somebody that's had cancer, I listen to them. But if somebody that hasn't had cancer, I'm like, I don't know, because you don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm feeling.
Exactly.
So
then.
And then I had,
Then life becomes complicated, right?
Very complicated.
Yeah.
So after we had a little break, Cameron, we've moved. Another thing about military, we don't think about, we think about the spouse, we think about the soldier, but guess what? We've got kids that deal with moving every year. My daughter and middle child, Cameron, they went to 3 high schools in 1 year one time. Just school after school after school. I live with a book this thick when we would go to different moves because it was just, okay, here's my child records, shot records. I had it all. And people would go, oh my gosh, that's so organized. I'm like, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
That's called the survival mode. Another example. But we had a break with kids. And then all of a sudden I call my youngest, my God's sense of humor, because 7.5 years later break, I have Jacob. Well, then, love and life, baby, all started completely over. Poor Anna, 10 years old, raising her brother. She basically raised her brother. I give her all the credit. Her brothers. She was the mama hen.
Yeah.
Taking care of everybody. But then we had 9/11. And Jacob was a baby. And you know how people go, do you know where you were on the day that happened? I can tell you exactly where I was. And I'm thinking, here we go again. And at this time,
where were you living?
We were living in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Okay. And Danny was actually in Argentina. He wasn't even at home. He was gone.
Oh, wow.
And I'll never forget that, because I was sitting here going, okay, God, I have gotten my life where these kids are all in school. I've started over with the baby. Mm-hmm. And here I am what's going to happen now? Because I'm getting too old for these deployments. But you do what you have to do, and you pull your little network of Army wives together, and you are a family. But I also have my family, because then this was before you and I had ever even met yet. Jacob, you had not met Jacob yet. So, but we all pulled together, but the uncertainty of war, what's going to happen. And I've got 3 kids now. One's a baby, and just the unknown.
Mm-hmm. But even within the past few years, you still live with the fear of unknown. Mm-hmm. Because your husband has been active until...
Oh, yeah.
When did he...
Yeah, he did some contracting stuff. And he's never... I always keep saying, do you know what you're going to be when you grow up? You're almost... you're 59 years old. It's time for you to grow up.
Uh-huh. So even with 9/11 happening, you continued to... Like, overall, how many places do you think you and the kids
Well, I think
have lived?
Danny and I did the math. Yesterday we did the math of 20.
We're trying to think.
24 different, places. But, moves, different. Because sometimes we would move in... One year at Fort Bragg, we moved in 3 different houses in 3 different years. We would move, okay, I don't like this house, let's move here. We, starting out in the military, we lived on post. But as we started having kids and we started living off post, which if I had the preference, I loved living on post. But on post, yeah. I loved living, because it's like everything happened right there. But we chose to live off post there. Mm-hmm. But we've lived, my kids have traveled all over, but I think probably the most significant move we've ever made was Japan. And I've made some great friends throughout the military life, but my most memorable friends that I connected with was Japan. Okinawa.
And you're still in touch with them.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long relationship.
And, now that I'm older, we've talking about dealing with seasons of highs and lows, loss of kids, loss of grandkids. Now, we're older, but the moving around and again, trying to keep in contact and console people that are in those deep valleys. You're not in that military camaraderie anymore. You're miles and miles away. And it's hard to, like I said, it's hard to console over the phone.
Right.
And,
Well, your kids didn't sign up for, they didn't have a choice. Do they ever talk to you about that? Is there part of them that regrets moving around so much and wish they would have had kind of a traditional upbringing with schools and friends? And
yeah,
do y'all talk about that?
It's affected them all three in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
With Anna, she always said, I will never marry a military guy because I want to stay in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll tell you now that she gets bored in a house because we moved all the time. So we had different houses all the time. Mm-hmm. My Cameron is the opposite. If he could have joined the Army right off the bat, he would have. Because he was like his dad. He wanted to jump out of airplanes. He wanted to shoot guns. He wanted to be a soldier just like his dad, but he's type 1 diabetic at age 11 and he couldn't do it.
Which was another thing, by the way,
oh, yeah.
that happened to you.
That,
but you did that kind of by yourself too.
Because
you had to figure that out.
Yes.
And that's a big complication.
You feel there are times military what you feel lonely.
Absolutely.
Lonely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you feel sometimes resentful because do you feel because sometimes it was his choice to, am I using the re-enlist? Is that,
he just stayed in. Yeah.
He stayed in.
Yeah,
okay.
He stayed in. But you don't get a choice. And, the thing is they tell you where you're going. I mean, you can put in your wish list or whatever you would say, and you can put your top 3 places, but they're going to go put you where they need you. But God always put us right where he wanted us. And boy, that's where my faith always kicks in. If I didn't have my faith, I would not be sitting here today. I would be in a mental home because my faith is what gets me through everything.
Your faith and your trust.
Yes.
And that is something that, and I mean this sincerely, through our years of growth and our friendship and what you've been through, watching you cling on to your faith and your trust, it helped me and still helps me. And that's been such a gift. You've set such a beautiful example of what you've been through and Christ walking with you through all of it.
Wow. I don't know how anybody can do life without that, because there are times where I was down on my knees crying out loud to God. One, I didn't want my kids to see me struggling because I wanted them to not lose hope, like, oh my goodness, my mom is going to die or she's going to lose her mind. But I clung to the one and only thing, and that was God. And ultimately, he's the one that's in control. I've just got to surrender.
Oh, and that's so hard.
That trust. Yeah.
No, that's so hard. But
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
What has been the most fearful time with Danny being in the military? Where was he and what was the circumstance that really gave you, I'm not sure about it this time?
Yeah.
Because there's times where you didn't even know where he was. There was no communication.
Or I didn't know when he was going to come back.
Or what? Yeah. There was so hush hush.
It's that my biggest fear during that time of any deployment was that drive, that that car pulling up in my drive at odd time and them getting out of their car with uniform on. That's when they're coming to take, because they're not going to call you and tell you that he was killed in action. They're going to come to your house.
And did you think this was the moment?
Yeah, I did. There were several times where I thought, Lord, please don't let them drive up in my driveway. But then I would turn to the word, to God's word, and he tells you, hey, I have got you. You've got to, trust in you. And the thing is, somebody said something to me one time, and I think of that all the time. God's already fought your battle. He's already fought that battle. You just got to trust that his ways are better. And because my way, what I think should be done, I can assure you it's not better than God's way.
Right.
So that's the hardest thing to do, because it really is. I mean, to trust something, especially if you have trust issues, which I don't, but if you do have trust issues, if you've been wronged by someone, it does, it is hard to surrender and do that. But praise the Lord, I was raised on the foundation of that. Because I mean, again, my husband tells me all the time that, I lived in Star, Mississippi all my life. If I had not married Danny, I'm sure I would have married somebody else, but one day. But I married my high school sweetheart and we moved away. And, I saw life outside of that. But I always thought everybody lived the way I grew up, going to church, reading your Bible, praying. I learned really quick at a really young life. Like if somebody was struggling with something, I'd go, I don't get it. I mean, why aren't they, going to church and praying? Why don't they have somebody praying with them? And
right.
Danny looked at me and says, Gaye, not everybody grew up like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not everybody had that foundation. So there's a whole nother world out there that I go, wow.
Yeah. How do they do daily life? Even
and that was my way of anybody that I ever met. That's the, when people would ask, how do you do it? I mean, when I had cancer, remember, my circle of friends never left my side. And here I am with a horrible type of cancer and having, the devil's blood is what they called it. And I said, time out. No. We are not calling it the devil's blood. That is Jesus's blood that you are putting in me, and it is going to get rid of the bad stuff. Do not call it that. And they all, laughed and said, you know what? I never thought about that. I always want, if there's one thing that I want to leave my kids and my friends and my family when I die, I always want I want to leave a legacy of anything that was deep, dark, or whatever, or having a tough time. I wanted to point them to Christ, because again, I wanted to point them that, hey, look, that's the only way you're going to get through hard times.
And you're a living example of that.
Well, I'm just like anybody. I'm a filthy sinner that wakes up every day and says, Lord, forgive me. I know I'm going to slip out a cuss word. I know I'm going to do wrong.
That.
Yes.
And he's okay with that.
And he, I turn away from it and go, okay, God, forgive me. And I try to move forward and put one foot in front of the other, because he knows.
He knows your heart.
Yeah. And anyway, that's the thing that I want to be the light for somebody else in this dark world that keeps getting darker.
It's a hard time.
Yeah. But that's what we got to do. We got to stand up.
Yeah. We'll kind of skip around a little bit, because you've kind of led the conversation down this road, this really hard road. So I remember I was in the car and I was driving. Ooh, it's coming to me already. I was driving through Leaper's Fork, which is, anybody that doesn't know Leaper's Fork, it is picturesque. I mean, you feel like you're in a Hallmark movie. It's just beautiful. It's peaceful. And it was a beautiful day. And I see you're calling me. And of course, my eyes light up every time I get a call from you. And she's like, and you said, hey, what are you doing? She goes, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay, that's not you. This isn't good. And you said, I was just kind of sitting at my desk and I felt a lump. And I said, okay. I said, have you been to the doctor? And you had been to a doctor in Star. And you said, but I'm gonna come to Nashville because it's not good and we need to do more testing.
Getting a second opinion.
Getting a second opinion. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever we need to do, we'll do it. And so I actually pulled in somebody's random driveway. And it just took my breath away. I was like, holy cow. Like, no, like we're not, but
big kick in your gut.
Yeah, it really was. And like, of all people, really. And I just prayed, and because I knew that was the right thing to do. And I knew, like you just said, we're not in control. So you and Danny came to Nashville, and I'll let you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it wasn't so bad. It when we went to Jackson, we were in Mississippi at the time, and our daughter had just gotten married, and they were on their honeymoon, and it had happened 2 weeks prior to that, but I didn't say anything to anybody because I didn't want to take away from our daughter's wedding, and so. It was that sucker punch. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And I had benign lumps before, but this was not benign. It was malignant, and, it was pretty serious. But they said this is the type of cancer, if you had breast cancer, this was the type of cancer you would want. So, hey, I got this. No big deal. Well, as our daughter was on her honeymoon, we got the call, and that's when I called you, and I was like, okay, we got this. And my husband was fine with it. Danny was like, we got this. And I mean, when Anna got home from her honeymoon, he sat us all down. Hey, mom's got cancer, but they're gonna give her some treatments, and all's gonna be good, and we're gonna be back to life. So don't stress over it. Well, as we all know, when you have been diagnosed with cancer, they have to do further testing. Well, we were in Jackson at the time, and it kept getting worse. And they're like...
With what time frame? Like how quick? Because it was quick.
No, I mean, I was diagnosed August the 11th, and then our daughter got married on the 13th. They got back on... I was called, I think it was the 17th. Hey, it's pretty fast growing. We need to get in and get this. Well, then that's when my husband's like, we're going to have a second opinion. Because they were talking about chemo, And we had a friend years ago that was a doctor, and he said, I'd had benign lumps before. And he told me then, he said, hey, if you ever are told you have breast cancer and it's in one breast, do a double mastectomy. Just do a double mastectomy. That doesn't prevent it from coming back, but it just do a double mastectomy. So I always said, oh, okay, if I ever get it. Well, so that's when me and my husband sat down, and I said, Danny, remember what Charlie said, should I do it? And he's like, if it's that bad, yeah, that's exactly, I want you. I don't care about your boobs. I want you. And he was still handling it pretty good. But when I called you, I was very, very nervous. And I was calling my circle of friends that I knew would pray and lift me up. But it was the drive to Nashville. Now, all of it was good because I knew I was being well taken care of. I mean, I knew Faith had the best doctors lined up to make sure I'm taken care of on my best health I could. And it was like one thing after another. I would get a report and it would get gloomier and gloomier. I saw my husband just plummet, because what do men want to do that love their spouse? They want to fix it. They want to fix it. And he couldn't fix it. And when that doctor at Vanderbilt looked at me and said, hey, this is pretty significant, but we're going to throw some chemo at you and we're going to get the strong stuff and it'll get rid of it. Well, that is not what my husband wanted to hear, because in his mind, all he could think about is me losing, get down to 50 pounds and throwing up. And I mean, the type of cancer that I had and the type of chemo that I was doing, I should have been extremely sick. But by God's grace, and I say it was people praying over me. And when I tell you people praying over me, I mean, I had across America, because in the military, again, word travels fast.
And y'all stand together.
Yeah, we stand together. And, but I was lonely because Danny literally handled it completely opposite of what I thought. Because this is a man of God, but he was angry at God. He was angry. So I spent my time then focusing on him to try to take care of him.
Make him feel better about your cancer, yeah.
And let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever admitted this, but driving down the Natchez Trace, which is gorgeous, I have PTSD from that. I've never been diagnosed with that, but I swear to you, if I get on the Natchez Trace, I can't stand driving down it, because it brings me back to the point where me and Danny were. And it's the looking out the window, and I know you've been there, completely different scenario, but the lonely, the tears that won't stop, that just pour out and pour out, because everything in your mind comes up. Am I going to die? I want to grow old with my spouse. Is he going to find somebody else when I die that's better than me? And he's going to love her more than me?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's a going on joke with me. I'm like, if you marry somebody, my kids have promised me they won't like her if I die.
And they would not.
Well, you're going to adopt them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't like her either.
So anyway, I know I got too many people on my side.
That's right.
But no. But seriously, you do think of stuff like that. You go through those thoughts of, it's not that I was scared to die. That's the thing, and that's what I kept telling my husband. I'm like, okay, where is your faith? Because I became a Christian at age 12. I put my hope in God, and I said, He is my Savior, and I can't do life without Him, and He's going to take care of me. If I die, I will be at the feet of Jesus. If I live, I will live to proclaim, hey, look, I should have been sick as a dog. Here I am 15 years later. Back then, I didn't think I was ever going to see my grandkids, because my daughter had just got, now I am blessed with 3 grandchildren. I got to see the birth of my very first one, Samuel. First time I'd ever seen the birth of a baby, because I never watched those videos of having a baby when I was pregnant.
Oh, yeah, me either. No, I want to see it.
The less I know, the better off I am.
Yeah, same.
So when I saw my grandson, my daughter delivered this baby who delivered it like a champ.
Of course she did.
Champ?
Of course she did.
Here I am 15 years later, and where God, He carried me through all that. Now, I had some times of struggle, but I sat in chemo with us sitting behind a curtain, laughing.
We did. It was a big old party.
Laughing, eating, cutting up. The nurses would open the thing and go, what in the world are y'all doing? We're like, Hey, we're making lemonade out of lemons.
We sure did.
Love that song Forrest Frank sings, Lemonade. Have I ever played you that song?
No,
That's
no,
my
we're gonna listen to that
It's
today.
mine and Henry's favorite song,
Aw.
Lemonade, where I had lemons. God made lemonade out of it.
And as I don't want to say dark and depressing because
Yeah.
the clinic, but it's heavy.
It is heavy.
Like those, and there were
Well,
some people by themselves,
themselves.
going through this, and we would even talk to them and encourage them.
Yes.
And yeah, it was just. But I don't know. Did you know you were going to survive? Like, did you
No,
have
I didn't
any
know.
kind of
I
peace
didn't.
that you?
No,
were,
I had peace.
Yeah.
But that was my peace in God. But
Yeah.
no, I did not know if I didn't know. And then on top of all that, you never really know how vain you are
Mm.
until you lose
Mm.
your hair and everything. But the most beautiful thing that you and Faith did for me was to make sure I had what I needed, you know. And of course, Sandra, she was like the best note taker.
Note taker,
Sandra
yep.
was constantly,
Yep, taking
I
notes.
mean, she was on top of note taking and
Because when you're in those doctor's appointments and they're telling you all this,
it's so much information.
it's so much, and you're just, your mind is like, this isn't happening to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's a process. Like, you do need somebody to
And
go
y'all
with you.
all
And
we're in communication with each other.
yeah, we were talking.
I was y'all's subject. I was y'all's person that, okay, hey,
like,
I
we're
got
taking
this.
care of
Yeah.
her. So you're doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I
Like,
got
we all
this. I'll get
split
the kids.
Split
I got
it
food
up.
taken.
Yeah,
I didn't.
You weren't going to ever be
I
alone.
didn't have
during
to
it.
worry about
No.
any of that.
No.
And I want to give my husband kudos. I started out saying that, he plummeted, but let me tell you something. That man, he showed what marriage was, how God intended marriage to be through sickness and in health. I said thickness, but sickness and in we were thick as thieves.
That's right.
Sickness and in health. He took that above and beyond because, honey, he protected me, but man, he was a little much,
Wait, didn't the doctor kick him out of the room?
No,
at
no,
one
no.
time? What was that?
He stormed out of the
Oh, he
room
stormed
when the doctor said, we're just going to throw a little chemo at her and get rid of that stuff. Well, that is not what my husband wanted to hear. And he stormed out and I squalled. And I looked at that doctor and I was, again, defending my husband, apologizing. Hey, he really is a godly man and he really is a good man. And he said, that's a good man. Mm-hmm. I would rather him do that because that man loves you that much. Mm-hmm. But what we got to get him to understand is I'm going to give you the medicine that's going to help you. And he goes, you've got this beat because you got your faith. It's obvious that you have your faith in God. You got it beat on that. You got to have all the strength that you can. And the best thing that he ever told me, that doctor, anything that causes you stress, cut them away. And I said, ooh, really hard. What if it's family members?
A close family member.
So, yeah. It is.
Well, how did y'all like survive that with him? Because he carried that anger
for a while,
for a long time. Was that like the soldier in him, or?
Yeah, and it was a thing that he couldn't fight it at that time.
He couldn't fight
it,
and he's a fighter. Danny is a fighter. Yeah.
But but boy, where we are today is a sweet spot because when we look back on where we were and where we are now, we know friends like y'all that, I mean, actually it's friends back at home too. It's not, I don't want to give just my Nashville folks, my hometown.
You have a good core of people all over.
My hometown, my church that I grew up in all my life, Star Baptist, lifted me up, prayed for me, and prayed for Danny. I mean, I had people praying specifically for Danny. And he came around and, he'll tell you now that was stupid of him, but
And he's apologized to you.
But it's real. Oh yeah, he's apologized and to the family.
Yeah.
But that's real life, and God knows that. God understands that.
Absolutely.
And it's just it took him a while, and it was hard on my kids. It was very hard on my kids.
Because tell me their ages at that point.
Oh gosh, don't get me to do the math.
Well, Anna was married.
Anna was married. Cameron was in his senior year
Of high school.
Of high school, and then Jacob was in middle. I don't know.
Yeah, he would be in, right?
Yeah, because I said it was his senior year.
Yeah.
And I remembered I didn't want Cameron's
him to
senior year to be flawed because his mom was dying. So that was, that was hard. But the school took care of him. I mean, that's the most amazing thing because we moved here. We moved back in our home because we had rented our house that we bought in Nashville because we rented it out for years. But we came back to my home there.
In Spring Hill.
Yeah. But we just, set it up there. And that's when Anna decided, okay, I just got married, but I'm just going to move into my mom's house and she was a caregiver. She took care of her brother. She, brothers. But we opted Cameron to stay in Mississippi. So I had my kid in Mississippi while I was going through all that. So he could graduate. So he didn't have to move. That's that military thing where you didn't want his kid to move your senior year.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing about chemo. It does wipe your mind out. I can't remember dates. I can't remember years. All I can remember I was diagnosed August the 11th, 2011. I got the call on August 17th that it was bad. And then, it just goes on, and that's what I relate. But when you ask me dates, I'm like,
Yeah,
how old were your kids?
It is a
I don't
brain
know.
fog. You do.
It is.
You go through that.
And
I go through that with grief.
Right. My oncologist said, hey, you can claim that the rest of your life if you want to.
Brain.
It's chemo brain.
Okay.
And I have it. And it's old brain too. Old age.
No. I know, like sometimes you'll have ailments or something's hurting, and we've talked about that it's kind of like you do have PTSD because every time something bothers you, like, and you're going to the doctor, you're like, oh gosh, what if the cancer's back? Like that's a real
and
fear.
You worry about, is my husband going to react to that the same way he did before? I don't think he would. I really don't. I mean, it'd be hard, but I don't think he would. But I don't think you're ever prepared for anything like that, death or cancer. I think it's just something that you have to you can't live in fear. Right. Because I refuse to live in fear.
Yeah, that's no way to live.
And now I kind of just go at it as the way I did, if I die. But that's with anything. That's not with cancer. It's with anything.
Right.
I could drop dead. We could go get a hamburger in a few minutes, which sounds really good. Go get a hamburger and then get in a car wreck. I mean, life.
Yeah. There's a plan. We don't know it.
It is a plan. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
don't know it, but he knows it. So,
but I trust in that plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the, and I know it sounds horrible, but I'm just going to say it, one of the funnest times during that for me was taking you wig shopping. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was just, we are both trying on wigs, and I'm not even going to pretend.
It fun though.
I can't even pretend to know, even though you were laughing, I know there's a part of you that was grieving. I mean, you had to have been grieving the woman that you were pre-cancer. Mm-hmm. You had to.
Yeah.
But
and you captured a picture, and it pops up on my Facebook a lot. You captured a picture of me when I had the wig. for the longest, it was hard for me to look at that picture because I'm thinking that's not me, but it was me. But the beauty of that picture is you did everything you could to make me feel pretty. And inside I was struggling, but I always had comfort. And that's the beauty of friendship, of your girl's there for you and lifting you up, and the ugly crying and the, one of my memories, and I think I've shared this, because when I was going through the double mastectomy, because I had the double mastectomy first before I had the chemo, which is supposed to be
so painful, right? Like your recovery was really tough with that. Painful.
But I handled it. I mean, I handled it like a champ. I remember Tim.
You did.
I remember Tim saying, "Well, gosh, she don't even look sick." And his mom brought, Tim's mom brought
Miss Betty.
Yeah, Miss Betty brought turnip greens, and I love turnip greens.
I know you do, but
they fixed this meal, and this was right after I was recovering, and I was staying at their guest house. And I'll never forget the cornbread and the turnip greens. And I went, and it was me and Faith and Danny and Anna, and we were going to do the unveiling, And I'll never forget seeing it for the first time, the unveiling of that. And I watched Anna's face because I thought that'll be the true tale of how awful this is going to be. And because I didn't have reconstruction yet, it was just the double mastectomy with the what they put in to fillers. They had to fill it up every week.
Oh,
expanders.
Oh yeah.
The expanders. Okay. And I had eaten those turnip greens, and I got so sick, and I was so nervous. And of course, we're all in the bathroom together. Got so sick, and I'll never forget Danny goes, "Well, let's just say this isn't fun, but hey, it's life." And he goes, "Well, let's unveil him." That's the way he is. That's the soldier in him. He's
point
like,
blank.
Let it fly. We unveiled it, and I remember Anna going, "That's not so bad, Mom." And just those words right there, and her look made me feel so much better, because even though it was bad, but it was a weight,
Yeah.
But it was a struggle, when, of course, nowadays people are now opting, they don't even do the reconstruction and do the implants. And, and now I'm starting into that new era of my life of I need to get new ones because these are, getting old.
Yeah.
But I have the fear of having to go through all that again to, readjust into life of surgery. I hate surgeries. I don't care what kind of surgery. I hate surgeries.
Yeah.
I don't want to get put to sleep.
Pleasant.
I don't want to do any of that. But in all of that, with breast cancer and struggles, again, the important message of having your friends surround you during when you're going through, I don't care, health issues or whatever, it's so important to have. It doesn't have to be a big group of people. It can be a small group, but it's so healthy to have that.
You can't do life alone.
No.
You can't.
And that's not how we were created to do life alone. You have to have that fellowship. And I'm going to tell you, that besides my faith in God, my circle of friends, my uplifting of my hometown and friends across America praying out. Shoot, I had friends in another country praying for me. The globe, I should say, across the globe. You got to have that.
There's power in prayer.
There is so much power.
I mean, that is uncertain that there's
so much power.
Power in prayer. I'm not uncertain. That's a certainty, a divine certainty that there's power in prayer.
But and my kids seeing that, That was important because my kids' friends surrounded them, and made sure they were taken care of.
That's amazing because they needed support.
Because of the model that y'all set, taking care of their mom.
Yeah.
Their friends did the same. And
yeah,
that's a blessing.
Because that's hard on them. I mean, the possibility of losing their mom at such a young ages, that's a lot. That's scary.
And and we'll go here now, because I think God uses things like that to prepare us for things to come. And even though my breast cancer was tough and hard in a deep valley, you, my friend, have walked in a valley, and to get that phone call from you. You talked about the phone call that I made to you. Hey, I'm coming to get that second opinion. This is what I'll never forget. Just like 9/11. I'll never forget the phone call I got from you when I was out in my little greenhouse trying to be a Michelle. I'm trying to be a Michelle. Messing with flowers.
Puttering in the garden.
And you called and said, and I could tell when I said hello, because I'm thinking, this is Michelle. And that call.
I think I called you.
On the
I
way.
didn't even know. I just got the call from Brad that Sage wasn't breathing. And I called mom and dad first, and then you're the second person I called. And sometimes like we don't answer each other's calls right away, because especially that time of day, it was kind of busy. And it was a God thing that you answered. And I told you Sage wasn't breathing, and I asked you to pray. And I think that was but go ahead, because I honestly, that's still a fog, but I do remember.
That was the phone call. It's that gut kick in my gut again. My immediate thing is I wanted to get in the car and come straight to you. But it was the mother cry. You were so calm, but yet I could hear I'm on my way. My Sage is not breathing. Brad called, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh. And when I got off the phone with you, I called my little lady prayer warrior that you're going to meet, because I knew she would pray. And my prayer that I wanted was not the same answer that God had planned. But I just remember thinking and praying, God, please give me the strength, because I just didn't have that feeling of peace that you were going to call me and say, okay. And when I got that message, that call, I was like, okay, God, I know you have a plan, but whoa, this was not the plan I was expecting. And coming here for the first time, I just remember looking at Danny and go, how is she going to do it? I don't want to lose her. But that's what I thought. I thought I was going to lose you, because but in all that, I learned so much from you, because you talk about a woman of strength. And that's when I saw your faith come alive. I mean, I knew you always had faith, but that's when I saw your faith come alive in you. There's beauty through ashes. That's when I look at you, that's what I say, beauty through ashes.
You're too kind. Yeah.
But I mean, how did you get through that? time with dealing. What's the saying that you and Lee always tell me, that God puts people in your...
Somebody always goes before you.
Somebody always goes before you
And so
to be there. So
for
when
me, that was Chandra went first with the
Mhm.
loss of her baby, Logan.
Mhm.
And then Lee losing her son, Jim, who was Sage's best friend. And driving there, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew in here. And I really had to make a choice. Even before I saw him, it's like, okay, here you and I are, God. What are we going to do right now? Like, you need to show up. You need to show up for me. And he did. I felt such a presence and a peace. And the peace wasn't for me. It was Sage's peace. That I knew where he was. And I knew he was okay. And I knew I was going to be okay. Because I've got 2 other sons that probably aren't going to be okay. And I have a husband who's not going to be okay. And I just felt this warm blanket just surround me. And I was never mad at the situation. I was mad at Sage because he knew better.
Right.
But at that point, when I pulled in the driveway and I knew what had happened, I knew the story. And I was like, okay, I can't bring him back.
Right.
Like, I have to go and move forward through this pain, through this suffering. And it's going to be ugly and it's going to be hard. But I knew you were going to show up. I knew.
You had
I knew
group of people.
And our family was carried, especially that week. We were carried. And this room was, the night before his funeral, this room was full of angels.
It was a sanctuary.
It
was holy
yeah,
place, and you could feel the presence.
You can feel the
was...
presence of Christ. You could feel this, and it was a celebration. Like, we were all suffering. We were all sad. But yet we were singing, and I just...
And it was one song after another that would just lead into another song.
And nothing was planned. It was all so raw and organic, and it was joy. Like, we had joy from a death of a child. And I was like, okay, there is beauty in sorrow. Like, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it well, and we're gonna do it right. And every day the rest that I'm here, I'm going to honor Sage, and I'm going to honor my friends, because I think of the things that I do, even through this podcast, it's honoring your friendship and being there for not just me, but for my husband and my boys. And we have never been forgotten. And not only did you and Danny show up, but your whole entire, and I didn't know who was coming. Like, and if you couldn't have come, you don't live here. And I had no expectations. And Anna's husband, and I'm like, we are so not worthy to have this much love surrounding us. But and I'm not okay. Like, I'm never going to be the same.
I'm sure you have days
person
where you don't want to crawl out of bed.
Yeah, and I don't, but I do, because that's God carrying me. And he's like, no, Michelle, you got work to do. And
you got people to help.
I got people to help. And I hope I do. I mean, I hope I do. And it's through Sage that I want it, because he was so giving. And he like, we found out a story. We found out so many beautiful stories after the fact. And we found out this story from our boys. And Sage would drive sometime, like Sage and Quinn would drive together to high school because they were just a year apart. But sometimes he would take Jude for me to his school, which was, I don't know, just a couple miles apart. And Jude and Quinn told me after the fact, he said, Mom, do you know, on the way to school sometimes, Sage would just, because he had a little part-time job, and he said there's always the same homeless guy on the corner before we turned to go to school. And sometimes when he had some dollar bills in his pocket, he would just roll down the window and give him that money. And I was like, of course he did. So he just had a big heart and a need to help. And so my heart is, like, Sage did take a piece of my heart with him. But I also I have a piece of his heart that will always be with me. So whatever Brad and I try to do, we want to be able to, when we are with Sage again, he's going to ask, so what'd you guys do while I was gone? What'd y'all do? And I just want to say, buddy, you were never forgotten. You were honored. You were loved. And we did it for you. And when we do it for our other two boys too.
Right.
But you, girl, you walk with me every single day. And I feel your prayers from afar. I feel your church's prayers from afar. I'm blessed beyond belief. God is good. He's good.
He's so good. One of the things that I thought of that night that because I have never helped plan a funeral. I've never did any of that. And Lee, when she just came in and just took charge, I was like, wow. Because she
knew what to do.
She knew what to do. Yeah. Because she already been
had
there.
to do it.
And that right there that blew me away, because for her to be able to come in and go, hey girl, I got you. But if you're not happy with that, I got you. We're going to make it the way you want it. I got you.
And you're trying to make a decision that you never think you're going to have to make or want to make for your child. And it's like, well, I don't know. I've never thought about it. We didn't know. And the way we were taken care of with that, and even our friend Faith, God, like you tell the story what she was doing with those flowers.
Oh my gosh.
Which were, oh my God, stunning.
Beautiful. I mean, she went through every flower. It had to be perfect. This has got to be perfect. This has got to be, in the dress, what you wore, everything was, she wanted you to not have to think about a thing.
And I did.
And she wanted you to look beautiful. And those flowers, I don't believe I've ever seen prettier flowers. And us going to that floor and just pulling every flower out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to make me pull out. No, we got to have, I want this.
And
but
she
did.
She
wanted it to be perfect for him.
Yeah, for him. And it was. I'll tell this funny story because thank God for Lee. But so we had to meet and choose a funeral director, funeral home. And so we went with our priest, highly recommended this company. And we're like, and then Lee was like, Michelle, Pam Stevens, you have to use her. Like and I was like, okay. And then our priest was like, Michelle, and I'm like, okay, we're going with the priest because it's Father Joe and he's so near and dear to us. And I'm like, so we did. And so this gentleman shows up at our door and very not well groomed, pants were too
I
short.
remember.
Yeah, it kind of looked like someone from the Addams family. It's like in my heart. And I'm just going, okay. So Brad and I sit down privately with this gentleman, and he's just, I need to say his social security card. And I'm like, I need his birth certificate. And I'm like, okay. Like it was just a business transaction. And I'm like, I just wanted to throw up. I really did. I'm just like, okay. Like, but I thought, this is what you do.
This is your
I thought
yeah.
this was the norm. Like, okay. So I'm in my bedroom and I'm just like trying to hold it in, and I just feel like throwing up. Even just to touch his cards and think, I was like, oh, okay. This is real. And then he pulls out this binder, like a binder you would see at school. And it's like an accordion in this plastic sheet. And he goes, whoop. Okay, what kind of mask cards do you want? And I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, I don't want any mask card. I can't do this. And I left the room, and y'all were standing there, and Lee was standing there, and I'm just like in tears. And she's like, and Brad comes out to check on me, and Lee pulls him aside. We're calling Pam.
I think that's the time, because I knew Lee, but
Yeah.
I think that
Y'all
day,
just bonded.
That's when I said, I want her in my circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want her in my circle.
Yeah.
Because I saw that she modeled to what friends do when
and what Jesus does, like
yes,
the people he put in our life.
Truly, yes.
On those moments, you find out who your real core group of people are. And so, oh God, this was just hilarious. So we make the transition of Pam Stevens from this other guy. And hours later, Pam is at the door. And
who was so sweet.
Oh my gosh. And the first thing she said to me was, I just met your son. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Let me back up, because she had called Brad to make the initial introductions, said, I'll take care of everything, whatever. So Brad tells me, and everything's going to be fine. I'm like, okay. It already felt better because Lee was really like, I can hear them talk, the dialogue. It was so sweet. Yeah. Like, okay, I feel better. And then a few minutes later, Brad pulls me aside again, and he said, got to tell you something. I'm like, oh God, now what? And he said, well, Pam's working on this, but they can't find Sage. And I'm like,
what do you mean they can't?
What do you mean they can't find my son? I'm like, I would imagine he's in a morgue. So what's the problem? Like, between the transition of funeral homes, the first funeral home didn't know what exact place he was at. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. But he's like, Pam is on it. Like, and from his initial conversation with Pam and how much he had already trusted her, I'm like, okay. And then I'm just laughing. I'm like, it's so typical of this child for us not really to know where he is and to just like lighten up the mood and just
watch
be like,
this, Mom.
Yeah. He's like, I'll get you. And so we did finally find our child. And I knew it was the right child because Pam, when she first came to the house and I met her in person, she said, I just met your son, Sage. And she said, I have to tell you, he has the most big, beautiful brown eyes I have ever seen. And I was just like, thank you for taking the time to meet him and to say that to me. Like it meant everything. And from then on, we still have
time with him.
She spent
time with him.
Mm-hmm. She spent time with him, and I felt like this was right, and it's going to be okay, and he's okay. And Sage's big personality, he would have loved the flowers, loved the pomp and circumstance, loved all the attention, even when we couldn't find him. It was just a sweet moment.
He got a laugh at it, I can assure you.
He got a laugh, and then the day of the funeral, I don't know if you remember this, the day of the funeral, the limo, and I'm like, who even uses limos anymore? But the limo, do you remember this story? the limo pulls
Just
up.
keep telling me, and I'll.
And so Brad's like, because we were running a little bit late, and I'm just dragging my feet because I know this is
it.
the finale.
Yeah, this is the
I
finale.
know what's coming. And so Brad's looks out the window, and he comes back. And again, it's like, I got to tell you something. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
What now?
What now? Like minutes before the church is right down the street. I'm like, what? He says, and he just busted out laughing. And my drapes were closed. And he pulls back the drapes and he goes, well, this is how we're getting to the church. And I look, and it is like the worst car Back to the Future. Like it's so old and rickety, but it's COVID. And there were a lot of choices.
I forgot about
things
yes.
they couldn't find. And Pam could not, excuse me, apologize even more. But who comes out of that limo? The driver. The driver worked at Showtime, which was a baseball hitting. He was Sage's baseball hitting coach at years ago when Sage was a young kid. With him and Jim used to take hitting lessons from the gentleman that is driving this god-awful limo, taking us to say our final goodbyes to our son. And I was just like, I'm laughing because it was so poetic for Sage, because he would love this with the neon lights, and I'm like, it's so Sage. But yet that extra piece of having this guy show up, I'm like, that's a God moment.
God just sprinkling a little bit of Michelle.
It was, and it was perfect in every single way.
The people that showed up at the funeral blew my mind.
Humbling away. And again, especially for COVID, when people weren't getting out, they were scared to go.
I forgot that it was COVID.
But even our priest, who was like, you had your strict rules, and to sit this many apart, and you can only have this amount of people. He's like, no, I don't care. You pack that church. This is your
same way with the meals when you wanted to feed people and the meals, and
I wanted to thank everybody because
and
I couldn't
Faith was
repay
like
everybody.
above and beyond on that. We're just
God bless that woman. It was just it was beautiful every single moment.
He was definitely loved.
But it was your walk of faith through your journey that I clung to in my grief moments and in your grief moments. And we've still got moments to walk.
Oh, yes, we do.
We just do. It's life.
It is life.
But I know you're not going anywhere. Our friendship has just grown deeper.
With me, girl.
Oh, darn. I can't get rid of you. What a blessing you and your family have been. And I don't want to end on sad notes because, gosh, we have just had a life full of fun.
Full of fun, full of memories.
Oh, my gosh.
Laughter. I think I still think even in the grief we laughed.
We do.
We still do.
We still do. And, I've taken you, we've been to the beach together, you, me, and Lee, and had, oh my God, do we laugh and do we cry? And
the bird
video, this big, huge bird.
You do have to explain birds because we experienced it this morning.
Yeah. Birds are my thing.
Yeah.
I talk to the birds.
Well, they say the older you get, you become the bird lady.
Oh.
But it comes to life even more because, even after my father-in-law died, who I think was the most amazing man ever, I see the cardinal.
Oh, cardinals.
I have Sage, show up because when you called me that day, and this is not a lie, I promise you, this is not a lie. By my greenhouse that Danny built, I have a white flower every year that's different. It's a different kind of flower that blooms every year.
And it's always white.
It's always white.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, "Hey, Danny, look at there's my white flower."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a beauty thing, but yeah.
But this white bird. So the three of us, you, me, and Lee. Again, Lee lost Jim, Sage's best friend, 3 years prior. And so the three of us are just having our morning coffee. The best. It's quiet on the water. I mean, it was our devotional. We're just sharing, intimate, private, funny, just girl talk, what we do. And all of a sudden, this beautiful, big white bird with those big blue eyes just comes and lands on the side of y'all. And I'm watching this bird. Y'all, you're going like, you're like, Michelle, what's going on here? This bird.
And it was not a little bird.
No, it's one of those tall cranes,
Yeah.
the tall, thinny ones,
Yeah.
the pointed beak. And I'm like, oh, don't worry, just, let's just talk and it'll fly away. Well, and we didn't even have any food.
No,
we just had coffee.
No food.
Well, it continues to walk closer and closer to us. It wasn't scared. And then finally, I'm just talking to the bird and it's moving its head like this, just staring at us. And then Lee, who doesn't, she's a bird person too. And she's like, this is a little, I don't know about this. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just go inside a minute. So we get up to walk. We start walking back to the house from the dock. And this bird is just
Follows.
It is following us all the way up to the door. And it stands at the back door.
We
and
have
it
a
is
picture.
we have a picture. I took a video. And it is standing at the door like, hey, what about me?
I want to be a part of this group.
I'm like, what bird is not skittish to fly away and just to follow us down to the door wanting to come in and hang?
Fun.
We are
crew.
fun. It's like, I want to be a part of them.
I watch y'all every morning. I want to be with y'all.
Too. And then I think within the next couple of days, we're sitting in these little inner tube thing, and you are so deathly afraid that there's sharks.
I do.
But we have watched the dolphins
yeah.
every morning, and so we tie up. Oh God, we're so redneck. We tie up our little inner tubes together on the side of the dock, so we don't float away. And out of nowhere, and usually I can see the little fin. Out of nowhere, this dolphin pops up in between the three of us. Gaye, you walked on water. You walked on water. I've never seen you move that fast out of this tube. I couldn't even move. I was laughing so hard. You were just like,
I thought it was a shark.
You thought it was a shark.
I don't want to get eaten up by a shark.
It was like,
it came out of nowhere.
Never.
But we did. I think we laughed for an hour.
We did. It was
those
just
are
like
the moments that you can never, ever, ever.
And you couldn't share them with anybody else but like you
yeah.
and Lee and just the
other people would have thought we were crazy.
I still am laughing.
Those are my favorite
things.
Which, by the way, we got to do a beach trip.
Well, when my house recovers from the tornado or the hurricane. Well, 3 floods, but yeah, but it's coming. We'll get there. So Brad always ends his segment with a question, but I don't do questions. But what I would like to do, and I haven't read it this morning because I know you and we're Jesus calling people. So I would just like to read, and we do this when we're together anyway. So I just would like to read from Jesus Calling this morning on September 20th and see what he has for us to say. So September 20th, try to see things more and more from my perspective. Let the light of my presence so fully fill your mind that you view the world through me. When little things don't go as you had hoped, look to me lightheartedly and say, oh well. This simple discipline can protect you from being burdened with an accumulation of petty cares and frustrations. If you practice this diligently, you will make a life-changing discovery. You will realize that most of the things that worry you are not important. If you shrug them off immediately and return your focus to me, you will walk through your days with lighter steps and a joyful heart. When serious problems come your way, you will have more reserves of dealing with them. You will not have squandered your energy on petty problems. You will even reach the point where you can agree with the Apostle Paul that all your troubles are light and momentary, compared with the eternal glory being achieved by them. Yeah.
And I love you. And I
I love you more. I'm grateful for you every single day. You're my ride or died sister. Love you. Time to eat. We good?
Thank you for tuning in. As always, the Good Grief, Good God show is brought to you in loving memory of Sage Warren.